Do 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 do. Okay. All right. I think I made it. Okay. I'm sorry. I had some funny little things happening. But we are here and we are going to do some Bridge Masters today. And one thing that I have found that's kind of interesting is some of these early ones can be really, really tricky, especially for players who are new to the game. So, with this, so I figured today we're going to tackle a couple of these first ones. I don't know why my shirt's blue and my green screen is green. So I'm guessing it has something to do with my lighting, but my shoulders seem to be disappearing, which is fine. Um, but I figured today we would try to tackle a couple of Bridge Masters and see if we could clear up some confusion on those. So, next week I am getting married, and so I will not be here during this time. So, that's the other reason that I started a little bit late. Ah! Okay. So, we're going to be doing a couple of these Bridge Masters. So, let's get started here with Bridge Master level 1, A1. So for this hand, we are in 3 no trump. We need 9 tricks with no trump suit. And so they let us spade. Spades look a little precarious for us right here. But let's count up the rest of the hand. Looks like we have the ace king of hearts, so that's going to be 2 tricks. We have the ace king queen and jack of clubs, so that's 4 tricks, so we're up to 6. And then we have the ace king of diamonds, so that's 2 more tricks, and so we're up to 8. So we need 1 more. So the question is, where could we get that 1 additional trick? Well, that 1 additional trick, it looks like it's going to have to come from spades. We won't be able to get any extra in diamonds right away. We won't be able to get any extra in hearts, and clubs we've already maxed out. So we're going to have to try to get another trick in spades. So they let the 10 of spades. Now, some of you may be thinking, all right, I'm going to play the queen here. The queen gives me the best chance at winning this trick. But does it really? Well, what we want to think is, what's East going to play? We have 8 tricks right now, and let's say that East plays small. Now we're going to end up winning this first trick with the jack, and then we'll have our 9 tricks and we can go home happy. If instead they play the king or the ace, well, now we play small from the south hand. So we would play the 2 or the 3. Now, why is that helpful to us? Well, because now we'll have the queen of spades in the north hand and we'll have jack doubleton in the south hand. So, with that in mind, we're still going to lose 1 more trick to the other missing honor, either the king or the ace, whichever one hasn't been played yet. But our last honor is going to turn into a trick. So let's take a look at how this works in action. So I'm going to play a small one here and we're going to see what happens. Okay, East came in with the ace, so I'm going to play small. Now they've returned 1. Now I am still missing the king, but because they returned the spade, I can play small here. West can either play the king, get that trick, or I'll end up winning with the queen. So they let me win that one. And now I'm going to be able to take the rest of my 9 tricks. So I can take those in whatever order I want. We can just do it sort of like willy-nilly here. I don't think there's a huge difference. We could try to count out the hand here. So we know that East started with 4 clubs. West just discarded a heart. And another heart. And another heart. But the problem is here is even though they've discarded 3 hearts, we only have 6 of them. So it's unlikely that we're going to be able to turn this last round into another one. So we can try to play the ace of diamonds, see if we can convince them to get rid of 1 more, which might give us a little bit more of a chance. Oh, there's 2. There's still going to be 1 more. But that's okay. We made our contract, so we got that star. Whoop, whoop. Alright, so that was the first one. Let's do the next one. So we are playing in 6 no trump. Oh my gosh. So we need 12 of the 13 total tricks. So let's take a look at what's happening on this hand. Well, we need 12 of them. We have the ace, king, queen of diamonds, that's 3. We have the ace, king, queen of hearts, that's 3. We have the ace, king, queen of spades, that's 3. And then we have the king, queen, jack, 10 of clubs. We know we're going to lose one of those to the ace, and the other 3 should be good. So why is this one a problem? We just have 12 tricks. What's going on here? Well, the sneaky thing here is if you are going too quickly and you don't set up your clubs right away, so let's say we're just going to tootle around and take all of the tricks that we know we're going to get. Well, we took our spades, we take our hearts, we're just out here living our best lives. Okay, and then we're like, okay, well, you know what? I'll save these diamonds for later. I'm going to work on clubs. They won the ace. Uh-oh. Now they've returned a spade. We are not going to end up being able to make this contract because they had a spade still. So, let's redeal this one. So that's what some people will do here is if they aren't paying attention, they may start cashing all of their winners first. But the sneaky thing about bridge is that a lot of times if you have an opportunity to lose a trick early on while safely holding on to controls in the other 3 suits, you generally want to do that. So here I know that if they return a spade, I can get back on lead. If they return a heart, I can get back on lead. And if they return a diamond, I can get back on lead. So immediately, trick 2, I want to lose that ace of clubs. I don't want to put off that trick until the very end, because if I do that, then we go down like we just saw. So we want to make sure we lose our tricks early if we need to set up additional tricks. So we can now take all of our tricks and we can let them suffer through it and click every single card right in front of their faces and be like, haha, I'm taking all the tricks. How you feel about that now? So we'll end up taking 12 tricks here and basically being the GOAT. Man, I wish there was a way to claim for these, but it's also very reasonable to not have a claim button because otherwise people could just click it. Alright, so we made it, so we got that star over there. Alright, let's do the next one. 7 spades! Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to need to take 13 of the 13 tricks with spades as our trump suit. Ugh. Okay. Well, so far so good. It looks like we're going to be losing no spades. And we have 2 hearts and we have the ace, king, small of hearts. So the ace and the king will take care of these 2, but this little 2 of hearts might be a problem for us. We have the king, ace of clubs, and we have the ace, king of diamonds. So all we have to worry about is this little 2 of hearts. So one way that I like to count my losers sometimes is by using what we call the master hand. So here, South has more trumps, so they're going to end up being the master hand. Now you usually would count your losers from that hand because you get to use the length of the trump suit when you are counting your winners and losers. So here, we have all of these cards that we need to worry about outside of the trump suit. And the only card that we have to worry about here is going to be this little 2 of hearts. So how can we get rid of the 2 of hearts? Well, maybe we can set up the clubs. We can play the ace, king of clubs. We can ruff a club, and then we can go back to the north hand, because at this point, maybe all the clubs are gone and we'll be able to discard a heart. But does anyone see a problem with that? I do. First of all, we won't be able to draw a trump in that process, and we don't have another entry to the north hand. The only entry that we have is the ace of clubs. So with this hand, our opponents got off to a very good lead. They started knocking out our trump cards right away. So the only other way that we could possibly get rid of this little 2 of hearts here is to use a trump card. So we're going to try to get rid of those. We're going to try to get rid of our two of hearts by using the trump card. Now what's nice is the 8 is just as good as the king for us because we have the ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, and we have the 8 in the north hand. So we don't even have to worry about it getting over roughed. All we have to do is make sure that we actually use it. And away we get to go. We can now rattle off all of our spades. We can take our ace, king of clubs, and we can take our king of diamonds and just basically live our best lives. So we will end up taking 13 of the 13 tricks here, so it certainly is possible to make grand slams. Whoop, whoop. All right, now for this next one. Oh, first I need my star. All right, good. We've collected 3 stars, and this X was a demonstration. All right, let's do the next one. This next one, I have had people tell me that it was impossible, that it was not something that was actually working, that they keep changing the answers for. So there is a correct solution to this one. Let's figure out what it is. So we are playing in 6 hearts here. So we need to take 12 of the 13 tricks, and hearts is our trump suit. Looking at these 2 hands, well, we have a problem in hearts. We're missing the queen. We have ace, king, jack 9, 10, or jack 10, 9, 8. So we have 4, 4, and we are missing that queen. So we have 1 club or 1 heart loser. We are missing the ace of spades. So we have 1 spade loser, but we aren't missing any diamonds or any clubs. So we have no losers in those 2 suits. Now, is there any way for us to get rid of this spade loser? Certainly not, because once we play this first trick, they're going to win the ace and we'll be able to move on with our lives. So, now we come to the tricky part. We're missing the queen. We got to figure out where she is. And we don't have any information from the auction. So here we have a 1 no trump, 2 clubs, Stamen. They bid 2 hearts, and then North just jumped to 6 hearts because they didn't want to have a constructive auction. And that's fine. So we have no information from our opponents. So we have to just guess where the queen of hearts is. And in bridge, what we like to do, instead of just relying on gut instinct, is to fall back on something that we call percentage plays. So for this specific holding, if you have the ace, king, jack 10, and you have a 4-4 fit, for example, here the jack 10, 9, 8 is up in the north hand. We want to give ourselves the best chance at getting 4 tricks here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to kind of do some reconnaissance. We want to go and find out if West has this singleton queen. Or maybe if they are completely out of hearts. If they're completely out of hearts, it looks like we may be in trouble here. But first we want to see if West has the singleton queen. And how can we test that? Well, by playing one of our top 2 honors here. Now the jack 10, 9, 8, they're all the same for us, so I could have played the 8 just as effectively as I played the jack. So I can play the ace here, and I'm just making sure that West doesn't have a singleton queen. But now that we've checked, we've made sure that West doesn't have the singleton queen, now we can fall back on our finesse, which is going to be a 50% chance of success. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to go back to the north hand. I'm going to use clubs because we have fewer of them, and so it's less likely that it's going to get roughed. And now I'm going to play the 10, and I'm going to finesse. So I'm going to play small here. And here we find out that West did have a singleton, but it was not the queen. So by playing that ace or king the first time, it allows us to check and see if West has the singleton queen. Otherwise, we generally fall back on that finesse because it's a 50% chance of success. So now we can take this finesse again because it's known to be working, and we can continue on our way. We're going to collect all the rest of the tricks here. So this is one of those really tricky ones that sometimes throw people for a loop because It seems like they move the cards on you, but if you play it like that, I guarantee you, for the Bridge Master, you're going to make it every time. In real life, you may not. But in the Bridge Master, you will certainly make it every time. All right. So now that we've done those first 4, let's go to the B's here. Let's go to B1. I haven't looked at B1 in a while. All right. So we are playing in 3 no trump. We need 9 of the 13 total tricks. We have no trump suit. Ooh. So we have a fascinating problem here. Now, this is sneaky. In bridge, a lot of times we want to try to take as many tricks as we can. But we also only get points if we make our contract. So we are in 3 no trump, we need 9 tricks. They led the 7 of spades. They've put us to the test right at trick 1. So we could play the queen, we could play the ace. We're not exactly sure who has the king of spades. Let's take stock of the rest of our hand before we continue. I have the ace of spades. That's 1 trick. This king of hearts, we cannot count as a trick right now. We have the ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of clubs, but that's going to amount to 4 tricks for us, so we're up to 5. And we have the ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of diamonds, and so that's 4 more, and we actually have our contract right now. We have 9 tricks. Now, we could try to take the finesse in spades. So let's say that we do that. Let's say that we play the queen of spades here. If we play the queen of spades and East wins with the king, fine, no big deal. But what is the one thing we are concerned about happening after that? We are concerned that East is going to return a heart. That they're going to return like the queen of hearts, for example. They return the queen of hearts. Now, if we cover, West is going to play the ace, and they're going to get the jack, the 10, the 9, heart, heart, we are down. So, that is the one concern that we have, and that's a very real possibility. So, with this hand, we should take our 9 tricks, and we should go home. We are not interested in messing around. We want to take our plus score, and we just want to live our best lives. Because they put us to the test like that early on, we really don't want to risk anything. Maybe if you were able to play off a couple of tricks in the minors beforehand, you might be able to make a more informed decision about whether to take that finesse. But at trick 1, it's just not worth the risk. You don't want to be going down in a contract just because you took a finesse that was losing. And so here you can see that that's exactly what would have happened. They played the 7 of spades. If I play the queen, they're going to play the king on top of that. And now East will have won the lead. They'll be able to return the queen of hearts. If we play small, then that's fine. They just win the queen of hearts. So queen, small, small, small. Then they play the jack. If we play small, they're going to play small again. Small, small, small. And now they play 1 more heart. And that's the nail in the coffin. We play the king. They play the ace. Small, and now they have that 10 of hearts still remaining. They'll be able to cash that, and that'll be the end of it. We'll be down 1 when we could have just made our contract by taking our tricks at trick 1. Let's do the next one. Alright, so we're in 4 spades. We need 10 tricks with spades as our trump suit. Ooh, okay. Fancy little hand here. Hearts don't look so good. So it looks like we are losing 3 hearts, and we are losing 2 clubs, and no diamonds, and no spades. So we have a problem because these 2 clubs, we don't really have anywhere to put them. We can't use trumps for them because we won't be able to get rid of any clubs in the north hand. So the only possibility that we have for getting rid of these clubs is going to be on the diamonds. Now the diamonds look a little odd because we're missing the ace. But what we can do is something called a roughing finesse. So we are missing the ace, and this is one of those sneaky ways that you'll be able to finesse for an ace. So let's play off these first 3 tricks, and I have a feeling they'll return a club afterwards. There they go. So they took those first 3 tricks. They returned a club. I can't afford to lose any, so I won it with the ace. So we need to use the king, queen, jack of diamonds to try to discard these 2 clubs. So how can we do that? Well, we have how many spades over here? We have 7 spades. We're going to be able to use 1 or 2 of these spades to draw trump. And then we'll still have 2 more up here. So after that, we can play the king of diamonds. If East plays the ace, we ruff. If they don't play the ace, we cross our fingers and hope and pray, and we pitch a club. So let's start drawing trump. All right, there's no more trump cards, so we don't need to play any more. We can play the king of diamonds now. They played small. I'm going to just cross my fingers and hope and pray and discard a club. Boom. So this is what we call a ruffing finesse. Because if they cover with the ace, we ruff. And if they don't, we discard the thing that we need to discard. So here, we're going to be able to discard our losing club under the jack of diamonds. And then all the rest of these are going to be ours. They are our beautiful trump cards. And we get to live our best lives. This one's a sneaky one. All right, let's do the next one. All right, so we are playing in 6 no trump. We need 12 of the 13 total tricks. Here, what is our problem? Well, we don't have any information from the auction. We are going to get 3 spade tricks. We're going to get 3 heart tricks. We have at least 2 club tricks. We might end up losing the queen of clubs, but after that, we're going to have a total of 4 club tricks, hopefully 5. And we're going to get 1 diamond. So, we have a bit of a problem here. We need to figure out what's going on with this club suit. So, we're going to win this first trick. I don't think it matters really which hand we're in. But there is that saying, 8 ever, 9 never. And so, for this hand, I think that I'm just going to play my ace king of clubs. Because I have 9 clubs between the 2 of us. Maybe I will play a heart and play the 10 over. Just to give myself a little bit of extra security. And there we go. We dropped the club. So when you have a 9 card fit, the percentage play is going to be to play the ace king right away. Not taking the finesse. There are going to be a lot of instances where you end up winning all the rest of the tricks there. So there's only like a 4% difference, I think, between playing the ace king and taking the finesse, somewhere around there. But say love you. All right. Now, the other tricky thing here is that we need to set up our diamond before we take all the rest of our tricks. Our clubs were a safe thing to do because we knew we were going to strip our opponents of all of their clubs. Oh, sorry, it's a 2% difference, 2.5%. I don't know why I said 4%. I was thinking that it was 52% and then 48%, but 48% is just the likelihood that it loses. All right. Let's do one more here, and then we will call it a day. I'm not sure. You're going to have to look it up for me because I'm not 100% sure anymore. Okay, so we're in 6 spades. We need 12 of the 13 tricks. And it looks like in spades we have pretty good holding. We have the ace king again. And we're going to lose this diamond right away. Do we have any clues? No. We still know nothing. So with this one, I'm still thinking it's going to be the same thing. I don't know. Ah, okay. So, I guess by playing low to the king the first time, this gives us the chance to pick up a situation where it's queen fourth in the east hand. So, by doing this early on, playing low to the king, it doesn't work the same way if you play low to the ace because now you can't finesse west twice. So playing low to the king gives you the best chance on this on this suit combination in particular. If north had the 9 and the 8, which don't usually seem like relevant cards, but for this hand it certainly is. If north had had the 9 and the 8, then it would be a guess whether to play the ace first or the king first. Okay, so Dave was saying a 4-0 split is 5%, a 2-2 split is 40%, and singleton queen is 1/4 of 50%. So the total is 56.5% for success when you are only missing the queen and you start by cashing the ace or the king in a 9-card fit. You can change your strategy once you find out more, but when the queen falls, you're good. If it's a 2-2 split, you're good. And then if it's a 4-0 split, you can now finesse safely just like we found out here. So this happens 5% of the time, as Dave said in the chat here. And so we're going to be able to use that to our advantage here. So we want to be careful. We do not want to play another trump from this hand right now. Instead, we want to go back to the north hand. We can win with any card we want. And then we take the finesse one more time. Boom. All right. And so now we have made this contract. We are good to go. I can just take all the rest of these because I don't have a claim button. But I want my star. So I am working on filling up all of my little stars here on my account because I don't think I've ever done that. So that was our brief little soiree into the Bridge Masters for this week. So next week, again, I will not be here. I will be busy getting married. And yeah, so I'm pumped for that. Thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed, had some fun, and maybe some of you learned something along the way too. And thank you, Dave, for your technical analysis here. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a fabulous day, and happy bridging. And thank you, Deborah. Me too. I hope it's beautiful as well. My dress is, so. All right. Well, you guys have a fabulous day. I will see you guys soon. And yeah,